The role of a real estate lawyer in your home buying or selling journey is essential in reviewing contracts, addressing legal issues, and ensuring the secure transfer of ownership. A real estate attorney and a criminal defense attorney are two totally different types of lawyers. It is imperative you work with the proper one to ensure a smooth transaction. I'd like to introduce Chuck Rosenstein of Rosenstein Ciccatelli. Chuck has been practicing law for over 30 years in New York's capital region. He represents buyers, sellers, and investors. Welcome, Chuck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So can any type of attorney help me with real estate transactions?
All right. So the answer to that question is yes. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Because, as you said in your intro, criminal lawyers do criminal law. Real estate lawyers do real estate law. We know how things are done here, and I will tell you the one piece of advice that I can give your viewers here is, and they've heard this before, all real estate is local. And so you have to know how things are done in that locality when you're buying or selling. And working with an experienced real estate attorney who's been doing this for 30 years and has plenty of experience under their belt, they'll know how to navigate through the way things are done. I can tell you early on in my career, I learned a great lesson. I tried to do a closing in Syracuse, New York. They do things completely different than we do here. Downstate, and that's a whole nother. Where does downstate start? Not really sure. Is it Poughkeepsie? We don't know. But they do things completely different down there than we do here in upstate New York. So to answer your question, can any attorney help you in the real estate process? Of course. Should you use any attorney? I certainly am going to tell my clients no, that I've done this before. I always think I've seen everything, which I haven't. It always amazes me every day. It's like, wow, never seen that before. But I do recommend that people use an experienced real estate attorney because they know the process. They can guide you through the process. When hiccups come up, and they will, we've dealt with them before, and we can work through them with everybody's help.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, so now we're under contract. And what does attorney approval phase mean, and how long does it typically take?
Sure. So, again, in upstate New York, as you guys know, real estate agents, if you're working with a real estate agent, they draft the contract. And a lot of my clients come, well, you review the contract first before I sign it? And the reason that I can say no to them is because there is a clause in our real estate contracts that says that you, either the buyer or the seller, are not bound to the terms of this contract unless and until an attorney on your behalf approves the content of the contract. So the process is that your realtor prepares the offer on behalf of a buyer, presents it to the seller. The seller can sign that and accept it. Then once that happens, that contract goes to the respective attorneys. One on behalf of the seller, one on behalf of the buyer, and then we, attorneys together, approve the contract or request changes to the contract so that, again, if we get to a point where there's something in the contract that doesn't work for our client or our client didn't understand that it was in there and shouldn't be, we, on their behalf, would have the right to cancel the contract and they would no longer be obligated to move forward. And on behalf, if we do that on behalf of a buyer, that buyer does not lose their deposit. Under the attorney approval contingency in the contract that we have up here in upstate New York, we have the right to cancel. And in fact, we can cancel that contract and we don't even have to give a reason. All we do on the behalf of our client, if for some reason they decide they don't want to be in this contract anymore, we can write to the other attorney and say, we hereby disapprove the contract as drafted. Please circulate releases and get the buyer their deposit back.
Excellent. Okay, so question number 3. Will I be in contact with you or someone in your office when I call?
100% absolutely. So the first thing, again, let's say we have a buyer, their offer has been accepted, the real estate agent sends the contract over to our office, that contract gets put on my desk, and my job from that point on is to pick up the phone, I will call the client, and I will go over all the pertinent points in the contract so they understand, again, what their rights are under the contract and what their responsibilities are under the contract. So that we call is the initial contract review. And it's all part of the fee that they pay us. And I also remind our clients, hey, we get paid at the closing. Nothing has to be paid up front. We get paid at the closing. Once you get there, we've done our work, everybody else has done their work, you've done your work. Now let's go to closing and buy the home. So to answer your question, Bob, yes, we will absolutely be in touch with the client to review the contract, and I will also introduce them to, we have at least 2 paralegals in our office that work specifically on real estate matters exclusively, and I'll introduce them to either Bobby or Kelly and let them know, hey, I'm going to be working with you as your attorney, but you'll also be working with our paralegals. If you need anything and you reach out to me and I'm not there, absolutely ask for one of the paralegals. And I'll be the first one to admit, as a lawyer who's been doing this a long time, my real estate paralegals in our firm are fantastic. They are experienced, knowledgeable. They know the process. They know who to reach out to get the answers that our clients need. And hats off to our paralegals. Yeah, attorneys are important, but I'm telling you, good paralegals are worth every penny.
Excellent, excellent. What is title, and what steps do you take to ensure the property's title is clear?
Sure. So there are actually 2 types of title insurance. So one is called mortgage title insurance. So if you're going for a loan as a buyer, and you're going to have to get a mortgage from somebody like Phil and Homestead Funding, you are going to, as one of your closing costs, you are going to have to pay for title insurance for your lender. It simply is a policy of insurance that protects the lender that if they ever have to go foreclose on the property and there is not clear title, there is something stopping that lender from foreclosing and taking that property back to be able to be sold, this insurance protects the lender. So there's mortgage title insurance. It is one of your closing costs. You cannot close a mortgage without getting title insurance. Their second type of title insurance is called owner's title insurance, or also known as fee title insurance. And that protects your ownership interest in the property. And when I say your, I mean the buyer. So if the lender has an issue, that's mortgage title. If you, 6 months, 2 years, 10 years down the line, a title issue comes up, and you have an owner's policy, you make a claim to the insurance company, and they protect you, and they resolve the issue, and if they can't, they pay you the value of your loss. So again, mortgage title insurance is required. It's one of your closing costs. Owner's title insurance is optional, and one of our jobs as your lawyer when buying, we will review the title and make sure that title is clear and that hopefully, based upon our opinion, you're not going to run into any title issues down the line. And if you do, we're going to recommend to you that you buy fee insurance, because if you do have a title problem, you want to make it the insurance company's issue and not your own.
Absolutely, absolutely. Excellent. Final question. What advice do you have for home buyers or sellers?
Well, this is great. I think it circles back to the question about which attorney to use. Please, use an attorney who is experienced in residential real estate transactions. There is a process, and when somebody in the process doesn't know how it all works together, who the players are, who's supposed to be doing what, it just slows the process down. And that's no good for anybody. The buyer, the seller, the lender, the title company, the real estate agents, there's a lot of moving parts in this process. So that would be my best advice, is to work with somebody, experienced real estate agents like yourself, experienced home buyers, experienced home inspectors, insurance agents. There's a lot of different people involved in the process. Work with good people who know what they're doing. Now, having said that, hey, I was a young attorney once myself, and I was on my own, and sometimes I had to learn the hard way. But working with experienced professionals is the key to success in buying residential real estate.
Awesome, awesome.
Yep.
Great information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for thank you for joining us today. And if you need a real estate lawyer, let me know. Chuck's information will be at the end of this reel.